The Kossuth cave is popular for profound and clear water, gives jumpers the unique experience of remote ocean plunging loaded with marine life sightings and astonishing cavern investigations. Anyway, the perceivability could get horrendous and the rule could vanish in the dirt, bringing about an exceptionally risky circumstance, where it's very elusive. The exit of the cavern. This is the tale of Märton's servant who didn't return and its multi-day salvage activity. The Kossuth cave is found 656 feet above ocean level north of the beautiful fantasy town of Józsefów, Hungary. The presence of the Kossuth cave behind the naval force Tehania Spring was thought as soon as the 1930s. However, access was not found until the 1950s. The cavern turned into a well-known vacationer location in the Actelic Public Park, subsequent to settling the entry zone during the 1980s. The exceptionally safeguarded Kossuth cave, alongside different caverns of the Actelic cast, was assigned a World Legacy Site in 1995. From now onward, indefinitely quite a while, the finish of the cavern's entries was believed to be the reminently miserable sump, following quite a while of investigation and difficult work including human losses. Amphora Jumping Club jumpers swam through the sump in 2009. The wayfarers arrived at an open entry with rich cavern developments and extra submerged sections. In the wake of exploring the profound and perplexing sump, the sections fundamentally expanded the cavern's little person length, which currently surpasses 4 focuses 921 feet, while its upward degree is 196 feet. Boss Sergeant Márton House Cleaner, 42 years of age, joined the Budapest Fire Unit's Extraordinary Salvage Order as a jumper on May 16, 2008. Yet in addition performed subordinate firefighting obligations. He showed his valiance and capacity by extinguishing various enormous fires and fixing broad harm. He was one of the crowd's generally capable jumpers and was knowledgeable in his exchange. He likewise functioned as a cavern specialist in his spare energy and acquired broad involvement with this field, having taken part in research undertakings all over the planet. A few times specialists say that main 6 or 8 jumpers in Hungary have comparative information and involvement with the cavern examination and plunging calling. In 2014, he was granted the silver level of legitimacy for greatness in the wake of winning a bronze decoration at the European Orienteering titles for his work in looking and saving the mermaid voyage transport. Calamity Márton had directed numerous effective disclosure makes a plunge the Kossuth cavern of the previous 10 years. On Sunday, April 3, 2022, individuals from the Legislative Centre's cavern plunging bunch, including Márton, led exploratory makes a plunge the Kossuth cave. During their jump, a mishap happened. One of the cavern jumpers didn't get back to the beginning stage in the cavern's a pink term, our dad's room segment on time. That jumper was Márton. Made Márton's colleagues, who had been given a jumper's security set off, following yet couldn't find the path of the well-being directed rope in the known sections at the time. Perceivability in the cavern's submerged regions was nearly non-existent. The Gömör Tornay regional unit of the Hungarian Cavern Salvage Administration showed up at the scene in the early evening, helped by the North Hungarian Relationship of Cavern Heroes, the Bakani Cave Salvage Administration, the Speleo Raznava Slovakia, the Neptune Plunging Club and the Cavern Jumpers of the Amphora Jumping Club, which has been exploring the cavern for quite a long time, started arranging extra jumps to find the missing jumper in a joint effort with Baz district experts of the Fiasco. The Executives Association extra assistants showed up at night and the morning after for the fall tasks, incorporating a few heroes with pertinent cavern plunging experience. During Sunday's exploratory jumps, investigated the zone's ongoing terminal end, the entries of Sump 3. These sections arrive at a profundity of 131 feet. The jumpers utilize a nitrox gas blend because of the extraordinary profundity, in light of the fact that nitrox permits the human body to invest more energy at more prominent profundities and can decrease decompression time during Climb the Goma tournée. Regional unit of the Hungarian Cavern Salvage Administration started organizing their salvage on Sunday evening. The salvage of a Kossuth cave jumper Márton Mede engaged with a mishap, and more seasoned jumper expressed he is perhaps of the best jumper in the calling. There are just 4 individuals in Hungary who can do what he can. He found the lobby of our dads after the miserable 7, yet he didn't rest and needed to go further. He was in that portion of the cavern when he got lost. By him, 5 jumpers went with him. However, the sinkhole they went through imploded, and he vanished. An individual jumper attempted to help as long as he could, yet needed to rise to the top sooner or later. This is an extremely tight, watery and earth place. However, we trust that there are marvels, and he is as yet alive, he expressed discussing cave salvages. In 2018, the Thai soccer group visited the Tame Long Cavern framework. Weighty precipitation filled the cavern with water, and the group got caught inside. The salvage tasks went on for 17 days, yet they had the option to bring everyone securely to the surface. As per Blicker Hungarian paper, Márton could get by assuming he escaped the water in the Kossuth cavern and found a dry spot someplace inside wet and dry portions, substitute in the cavern sop. Endurance isn't totally unimaginable. Then again, the scope of vision and water is zero because of the blended material. The salvage activity anyway went on with jumpers working in shifts inside the cavern. On the second day of the salvage activity, taxpayer-supported organizations started to partake to assist the workers, and the counter-psychological oppression with focusing tech took over salvage coordination. The counter-psychological warfare place units helped the salvage cycle in different ways, not just by offering strategic and hierarchical help for the salvage, yet in addition, via really focusing on the people who partook in the salvage. The salvage was hampered by the way that such a segment of the cavern was extremely restricted, making enormous jumpers unfit to take part effectively, and that perceivability in the water was presently exceptionally restricted. The last free piece of the section had fallen during the new 1.5-hour plunge, close to the cavern's as of now known terminal point, at around 131 feet profundity. The aid rope fixed in the cavern, which supports jumper direction in low perceivability, didn't run unreservedly. It was totally implanted in the earth and couldn't be moved. As a result of the low perceivability, the salvage jumpers could sensibly presume that a breakdown or some depressed material had hindered the entry. Sometime thereafter, the missing jumper Márton Mede was found around 820 feet from the very start of the plunge at the entry to the Remenitland irredeemable sump at a profundity of around 98 feet. Tragically, when the salvage group found Márton's area, he previously died. The reason for the mishap seems, by all accounts, to be a section breakdown. The follows were found the following day by cave jumpers plunging at a profundity of 157 feet toward the finish of the Little Person section. Cave jumpers from the Amphora Plunging Club, who have been investigating the Kossuth cave for a really long time, played out the submerged part of the salvage. They made 9 cavern jumps, lastly got the body to the entry to the remainder sump. Following 7 days of search and salvage activity, the jumpers work in extraordinary profundities for extensive stretches in restricted sections, and with restricted perceivability, made the plunges very troublesome in the wake of moving Márton's body. The Cavern Heroes Administration finished the remainder of the gig. Other than the North Hungarian relationship of Cavern Heroes, the Cavern Heroes of the Swimsuit Cave Salvage Administration and the Spelio Raznova Slovakia were partaking in the salvage with around 80 individuals. During the salvage activity, the Cavern Salvage Administration moved the jumpers' all's gear, built extra link transport ways for the cavern salvage, and supported the proper steel links. The last salvage group of 50 individuals from these homegrown cavern salvage administrations was ready to deliver the Márton's body once again from the sump in under 3 hours, an impermanent counterfeit dam raised the water level of the Kossuth caverns 164 feet in length lake, permitting the cot to drift on the water surface over the introduced wire ropes. At 2 p.m. on Sunday, April 10, the Hungarian Cavern Salvage Administration's longest salvage activity in history was at last finished up when the Márton's body was taken to the cavern's entry during the 7-day salvage. 20 associations with north of 250 faculty partaken in exercises inside and outside the cavern during the pursuit and salvage. The whole Hungarian buckling local area met up, not simply his dear companions and members. In the activity, Márton was a specialist in each part of jumping. He was additionally perhaps of the best submerged jumper and drove various global undertaking in Hungary. Just a modest bunch of jumpers have comparative information and involvement with the cavern investigation plunging calling. We might want to thank you for watching this video. On the off chance that you delighted in watching, take a jump on the like button. Consider buying into our feed.